my grandfather prides himself on helping his community by building offices, homes, and the developments that a growing city needs. So he told me that there are 1.4 billion people in India and nearly not enough housing. And this gap widens every single year. So in his words, when you're asked to build faster, safety is always the first thing at risk. The problem is, his team still converts physical, hand-drawn 2D blueprints into 3D models manually, taking weeks, if not months, of manual labor. So when my grandpa broke his hand, it became near impossible for him to do the job that he loved most. And that's when it clicked. The bottleneck wasn't the building, it was the blueprint.
According to India's National Crime Records Bureau, roughly 7 structures collapse every day. Just last week, 28 people died in the building collapse. And this problem isn't unique to India alone. Just a few days ago, the Pfizer headquarters in Manhattan and the surrounding area had to be evacuated due to a structural collapse.
The Pfizer incident is just one example. Inefficiencies cost the U.S. construction industry an estimated $177 billion every single year, with nearly half of all reconstruction due to inaccurate project data.
So introducing Planos. Planos is a platform that automatically converts 2D blueprints into 3D models, and so architects, engineers, and consumers can spend less time manually recreating designs.
So now, let's meet the team. My name is Neil, and I'm going to be your CEO.
I'm Ria, your COO.
I'm Will, your CTO.
I'm Lucas, your CFO.
I'm Gloria, your CMO.
So let's get into the specifics of the technology behind Planos. Specifically, CAD, or computer-aided design, is the use of various computer software to manually create and edit 3D models. So Planos will specifically prepare uploaded blueprints by correcting orientation and reducing blurriness before scanning key features using machine learning and converting them into 2D sketches. Afterwards, sketches will be extruded to 3D models using dimensions specified in the blueprints before exporting to common file types such as STL and STEP. By automating the blueprint to model conversion process, Planos will allow users to spend more time on structural validation using third-party software such as seismic activity and structural stress simulations, and while also automatically flagging potential errors for human review, increasing safety of designs.
So now, let's talk about our MVP, or our minimum viable product. So first, we're going to be developing a prototype using a Cloud API and training it accurately based on hundreds and thousands of 2D blueprints and teaching it to identify doors, windows, walls, and anything that blueprints actually need. With those risks out of the way, we're going to develop an independently developed AI model that is trained based on all of our data and that leads to great reduced risk, accuracy, and increased speed for our systems. So now let's talk about our market. R10 is a $20 billion industry consisting of all the companies that are the backbone of the infrastructure industry around the world. Our SAM, a $200 million market, targets US-based small and mid-sized architecture and engineering firms, as we plan to expand nationally before moving to an international market. And lastly, our direct consumers, a $10 million market targeting San Francisco-based small to mid-sized architecture and engineering firms that we plan to obtain within our first few years of operation.
Our competitors solve only part of the blueprint to CAD process. SolidWorks offers professional CAD editing, but generally requires users to have prior experience and make models manually. Meshing AI allows users to easily create 3D assets through images, but does not have the technology required to recognize architectural nuances such as doors and windows. Furthermore, it is text-based, meaning precise modifications cannot be made. Planar 5D allows for floor plan visualization to be accessible and easy to use, but it targets individual consumers rather than large-scale businesses. Planos bridges the gap between these products by automatically recognizing blueprint elements and creating editable CAD software.
With a clear value proposition, our next step is bringing Planos to market. We initially target mid-sized architectural engineering firms by pitching directly to their directors of design and CTOs. Once implemented, engineers and architects experience the benefits firsthand and naturally recommend Planos to colleagues. From there, with our trust established and our reputation built, we move into paid advertising to scale our business. We also have a self-service B2C platform for independent workers like freelance, students, and homeowners. Our target audience persona includes users like Emma and David who need a fast, intuitive way to turn their 2D ideas into 3D models.
So it's not just us who believes in this idea. Here's what Kevin Lee, senior architect at Cooper Robertson and Partners, and other architects had to say about this service.
Planos could save architects hours of repetitive modeling and allow us to focus on own design.
We also gained broader industry feedback by surveying architects. So 148 out of 159 architects responded saying that they would use our service. This, in other words, 93% of architects support our service. Now take a look at our website as we navigate down to the pricing. So we plan to divide our subscription into 5 tiers: Basic, Pro, Premium, Elite, and Enterprise for custom monthly conversion limits and custom pricing. Each subscription tier is tailored toward different audiences with different monthly conversion limits and different prices. So for example, our premium pricing tier, it has monthly conversion limit of 16 blueprints and is designed for medium-sized architectural or engineering firms. And the 16 blueprint conversion limit is meant to address their monthly project needs. Now let's take a look at our financials. As you can see here, it's a graph of our income and expenses. We break even near year 3. By year 5, we project to have a net income of $5.1 million and a profit margin of 58%. In addition, our operating expenses are extremely stable, which means that it lowers financial risk and allows us to budget more accurately. Now let's move on to our 5-year projected revenue. By year 5, we project to have $8.8 million in revenue, with a startup cost of only $60,000, which is on the lower end of many businesses today. With most funding of $210,000 and the highest valuation of $1.6 million received from the Berkeley pitch on this previous Monday, here's how we plan to allocate our funds. Our key expenses will be things like labor, which accounts for our machine learning engineers, plus research and development, in addition to our API token buys and our emergency fund.
Beyond architecture and engineering, we see natural expansion into industries like interior design and home remodeling. And from there, we also see expansion into 3D modeling for fashion, game development, and semiconductors.
So join us in revolutionizing the future of infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. A very targeted customer, very targeted me. I like the approach here. Can you tell me about the survey that you did with the architects, and did you give them price points? Did you ask them how valuable this service would be to them?
Yeah, so basically, approximately like 500 architects within the Bay Area and the New York City area, and we gave them a really simple survey so it would be easy for them to respond. Basically, we gave them some context about what our product is, how it would speed up our efficiency. Obviously, we gave them the price points and how you would obviously sell it to them and how it would expand in the future. And we basically just gave them would you use our product and how could be improved? So basically, what we found is that the majority of our architects said yes, but also a lot of them said one minor improvement they would make is that we would have to emphasize the fact that we maintain a lot of human interaction during the AI process to make sure that everything's still accurate and humanly verified.
And just to follow on, did they ask any questions about liability or how much you would ensure the quality of your work?
Specifically, not a lot of them went into depth about that, but the ones who did, specifically asked what happens if the software gets something wrong and something happens within the building. Basically, the way we explained that was that currently AI will never be 100% correct, and we still maintain the human in the loop interaction to make sure that humans can still verify everything that happens within software.
Good job, guys. I'm just curious, for the basic plan and the pro plan, can you give me an example for each? Who would be that target user to use those plans?
So the basic plan would be for everyday people like you and I. Imagine you're an architect or you're a modeler. You want to remodel your house. and your Autodesk comes to you with a blueprint. You don't know what any of this means. So we find the basic plan, you scan it, and then it shows you a 3D image, a 3D model of what the house may look like. And then you say part of the premium? Yeah, oh, Pro. Okay, so the Pro would be for smaller to medium-sized architectural or engineering firms. As I said with the premium subscription, they're pretty similar, except the Pro has a lower monthly conversion limit for blueprints.
So it sounds like your main value is bringing the 2D to 3D models and the automation and time savings that comes with that. I'm curious how you're thinking about staying ahead of competitors who are probably building similar technologies today or maybe already doing so.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great question. And I think my answer would be that the way that we're staying ahead of competitors is that we're offering fully exportable and universal file types, right? So CAD is an umbrella term, and all these firms use different CAD softwares, and other competitors, they offer their own software to them. So it would be a lot of work for those existing firms to switch over to those softwares. However, our product essentially exports a universal file type that can be integrated into any workflow that a company that already uses. So it'd be really easy to integrate within a company's process. It wouldn't take too much time or money.
Thank you. And then what makes you guys the right founders and team to be building this?
Yeah, so
So obviously I have a prior experience with CAD and modeling. Basically, I taught computer modeling and CAD, other robotic stuff to a wide array of like kids in the New York area. And also, I believe as a group, we work together seamlessly. We are able to find us like one specific solution, even though we might have disagreements at times. We have like a certain like way of interacting with each other, and we have standards set out so that everyone interacts in a like efficient and respectful way.
We also see that like in the 2D and 3D modeling, a lot of our different interests can use this product. For example, my interest in fashion, where I turn 2D design into 3D actual clothing, and then for Lucas, he's interested in semiconductors.
and as far as the technical aspect of it goes, I have prior experience in like software and engineering, so I can bring some of that background combined with knowledge in CAD, and then combined with everyone's knowledge about marketing, finance, and I think we work cohesively well. Yeah.